Hey everybody, welcome to the Seventh Rule Roundtable. It's a special show we do with our patrons. Number 3, Aaron says. We've got Jared Cooper, your stars, Aaron Eisenberg, Sirach Lofton. My name is Ryan T. Husk, and we are joined by
Vikram.
Vikram from San Jose, California. Do you know that my hometown is San Jose, California? So
Interesting.
He does now.
Where
He
in
does
San-
now. That's why he lives there, Ryan.
Where in San Jose?
Actually, I am in Sunnyvale, so.
I know
yeah.
well.
Why is your camera moving while you move? That's pretty cool.
I'm on the phone.
He's holding
Yeah, but it's literally moving as you move. Like, is it attached to you right now?
He's in a swivel chair. He's in a swivel
holding
chair.
it.
No, I know he's in a swivel chair, but even in the swivel chair, your hand can move as this moves, but it's literally perfectly moving with him.
Hello
It's
to
like
the
he's
new-
locked
Just
in.
my hand holding the camera.
Well, you're pretty good, man.
please.
And looks like Gary's joining us too.
Hi there, Gary.
Oh, hello. My name is Aaron, actually. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
it says Gary's iPhone because I once plugged my phone into my father's computer, and now my phone says Gary's Patrick's iPhone, so I don't know.
Yeah.
It does.
Valence.
What a great name, Hat Trick.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
As long as you're a hockey fan and a soccer fan, you know?
My last name is Triple Double. So
Anyway, Vikram, San Jose, do you watch MLS soccer by any chance?
I do. Not as much. I go to the LA San Jose game sometimes.
Well, you better
haven't
start
gone
going
back
a lot
to-
more. You're not coming back to this round table, my friend. No, I'm just kidding.
Via Stadium, awesome. I've been to a couple games there. It was beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh, so cool. And where are
Where,
you?
where are you at, Aaron?
I'm out
I'm
in
in-
Simi Valley.
Not you, not you. The other Aaron.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, me? You're talking to me, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I'm in Waco, Texas.
Nice.
Okay.
Oh,
We've heard of that place too.
Yes. Yeah. It's such an honor. It's such an honor to meet you, Mr. Sirach and Mr. Eisenberg.
Hey, my pleasure.
Mr. Sirach.
That's what my license plate says.
Really?
Really?
No, it doesn't. No.
It should. It
That's
should.
very good.
They call me Mr. Sirach.
Yeah.
A vanity plate now for that, Mr.
Pleasure to
Sirach.
meet you,
Waco,
Aaron.
Texas.
Thank you.
You know, actually, interesting about Waco. That was the
Yeah.
the whole incident that happened there that made it famous, essentially, right?
Yeah.
Branch Davidians.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. Well, one thing that I read about, which I thought was interesting, was that Nichelle Nichols had a brother who passed
Yes.
away.
Well, that wasn't the Branch Davidian situation. That was that group that
The Haley's Comet?
podcast about it. Yeah, the
Oh,
comment,
really?
people. What was that? There was a podcast that came out about it a couple of years ago.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, the comet.
Yeah.
Is that the one that they wore the Nike shoes?
Yes. I think that's the one that Nichelle Nichols' brother was part of. I'm pretty sure.
Got it.
Really? I didn't even know that.
Yeah, because he passed away because of that. Like, they all committed a mass suicide, and he was one of the
Yes.
people.
Yeah,
I never knew that, Sirach.
Yeah, that's I just stumbled upon that information. I don't know how, but I was looking up this mass murder thing, and Nichelle Nichols' brother came up as the victim, one of the victims who basically ingested the poison.
Wow.
Yeah, I think
And I meant to ask Nichelle about this. I know it's like not the greatest thing to bring up with her and say, hey, let me ask you about your brother, but I don't know if she's ever really been asked about that.
Hmm.
Interesting. I know the group you're talking about, and I can't remember what they were called, but
I'll use Google again. We learned about black boxes and why planes aren't made
Yeah.
like black boxes today. Vikram, Aaron, did you know that? Did you know why planes aren't made like black boxes?
Too heavy.
No.
It would be too heavy, guys. That's all.
It's too heavy.
let's hit
Because
Vikram
we
first.
were connecting it to the death of Cornwell.
Okay.
And why, the super duper glass and the door that went back into the the ship wasn't affected
Mhm.
by the blast. And
Mm.
then we talked about black boxes, and
Our
it was
last-
one of our best episodes. Make sure you guys tune in.
what did you think of, Vikram, of the final season, the final episode of season 2, by the way?
About the final episode itself, it was quite good. I really enjoyed the entire season as a whole. Also, the story arc that they had. The final episode, I felt most of it was kind of we knew about it from the part 1 of the final episode. So the part 2 was not a lot of story coming out, a lot of reveal coming out, but it was mostly action. So that was pretty good. Well done. And yeah, looking
And-
forward to season 3.
Ryan, we used his comment in the show. We shared his comment.
That's right.
Yeah, he loved it.
So stay
He did say something about wanting Jake and Nog to make an appearance, I think.
tuned.
Yeah, definitely.
Don't shake your head like that, Jared. I saw that.
I'm glad you caught him. Caught him, Sirach.
Don't worry, I got us, man. I got our back.
Just like the show, man.
Now, Aaron, our new guest from Waco, what did you think of this most recent episode? Did you get a chance to see it?
I did. I really loved it. I found the moments between Michael and Spock very affecting. That part where she gives him advice to find people who are the opposites of him
Sure.
and trust
Yeah.
them. Such just a beautiful allusion, obviously, to McCoy and Kirk.
Oh, good call, Aaron. We didn't talk about that.
That's a good call. Yeah.
I forgot about that. That was one of my most enjoyable moments when we talk about how they connected to the canon throughout this season.
Yeah.
And that was one of the best moments of how they actually connected to characters' growth
Hmm.
moving forward that they alluded to, as you mentioned, to TOS, which was the relationships that he built between Kirk and McCoy. Good call. We forgot about that.
What was so great about that was it wasn't them making an attempt to fit canon in or squeeze canon or repair canon or give us a nod, but to expand canon.
Yes.
Yes.
Something you know, and here is expanding that, telling you why, and that's a really beautiful thing. You know, that's a great thing to
Gosh, I
see.
can't believe I forgot to mention that. That was one of my favorite moments. And it related to their struggle throughout this season, right? So I wonder if they had a plan to do that all along, to build up the relationship, to connect it to Spock from TOS, and or if they just kind of stumble upon and go, oh, look at this little Easter egg. Look at this little golden egg we can add in there at the end. Yeah, good call, Aaron. Well done.
Another thing that I thought that they were connecting to Kirk was when Michael, at the end of that scene, when Michael and Spock touch hands at the Vulcan salute. It's obviously alluding back to when they were children, but I also felt like there was something that they're looking forward to the death of Spock.
Yeah.
When you had Kirk put his hand on the glass. I found it very affecting. I thought it was a beautiful, beautiful scene.
So is it that Kirk reminds him of Michael? Is that what the illusion is?
I think there is something to that because he says that Michael is his balance, and then she says, "Look for these people who will be able to be your balance."
Yeah.
And that ends up being McCoy and Kirk,
Right.
and then there's this same thing with this touching. Well, I mean, it wasn't actual touch with Kirk, of course, but as close as you could get in Kirk's case, behind that glass.
I kind of ruined the moment for Melissa when that was happening in the show, because my first inclination is when Spock put up his hand, I thought Michael was going to give him a high five. Wow. That's what I wanted. I wanted a big, strong high five. And I would have thought that was...
Yeah.
Jared just shook his head at you again.
Yeah. You're pissing him off, man.
Yeah,
See,
Jared's like,
that's what I would have done in Orville. That's why I should have been in charge of Orville.
Yeah.
Because that would have been a Spaceballs moment. Puts that up, and then they go, pow, right back at you, my friend. No, that's not how this works.
Did you like the scene of her flying through space? Did you visually like that when she was in the suit? When she was in the red angel suit and she was flying through the wormhole, did you like the visuals on that, or
Who are you asking?
everybody?
Oh, I thought it was awesome.
I didn't like that one. I like when she jumped out of the shuttle bay and like flew over the Enterprise, like over the hull.
Yes, that was
visual
awesome.
And it looks like we got somebody else joining us. Chelsea's getting signed
Chelsea!
Chelsea.
Hello.
Bye,
That's a
Chelsea.
sofa, I think. I thought that was awesome, Jared. I felt like I was on a ride at Disneyland or Magic Mountain, or going through, like we were just at Universal Studios and we went through the Harry Potter ride and they do it like that 3D thing. And I was thinking, why doesn't Star Trek or sci-fi shows do that more often? Follow something through. I think we did that on DS9, right? We followed the Defiant through the war.
Yeah.
And it's a lot easier to do that and be engrossed in the show than just everything flying around. You're like, wait, I'm not sure who's fighting who. It's actually a really good directing idea, I think, and tool,
And another effect, I know this was cheap and one of the easiest things in Hollywood, but the low graph fight with Giorgio and Leland with the 360 rotating set was awesome.
That was awesome, yeah. But I will have to comment on that. His fist pounding Giorgio's face as much as it did, I was like, come on. I mean, who can really take that? I mean, she's not, altered in any way. That her face is going to be pulverized. I thought that was a little excessive. I think I felt like they could have done the fight a little bit more believable, if you will. I know she's a badass. She's, really. I have to watch my language.
She was trained by Rocky Balboa in one of the Hollow Suites, so forget about it.
Ryan, I felt
my
bad.
friend.
Ryan, I felt bad because your girl Non, we don't even know if she's alive at this point. They just
Gotta be. But I did want to rewatch it. I did want to see it again because it seemed like what knocked out Non was a somersault. Like it seemed like it seemed like
laughed.
She did a little somersault and rolled over, and because I remember thinking, oh, okay, I guess that looks like it might kink my neck.
I'm a little sore.
But then she was just down for the count, so I was like, I need to go back and see what sent her into that little somersault, because I made no secret she's one of my favorite characters because she's new, she's interesting, she's a Barzan, and we love that kind of stuff. So I've definitely been rooting for her. I'm sure we're going to have her. We're going to get to keep her. There she is, by the way, right there.
But here's an issue I have with those things that are her lifeblood, right? These things that are connecting her to breathe. And you're in a fight and you get punched,
I know.
It's over. It's kind of like me with a kidney transplant. I get punched in my gut, I could lose the kidney in a heartbeat. So making her a security officer seems a little unreal.
It's like if you had your kidney in a fanny pack just hanging out on your side.
Exactly. Or on my face. They give my transplant, they put it on my face. Yeah. I'm not going to be a bouncer in a bar.
Well, she's getting a helmet made for season 3 just for this very purpose. So don't worry.
And she can look just like Arium. Hey, look, guys, look who's back.
Yeah, the producers are listening to us. They follow all the fans, and they'll make adjustments. So next season she'll have a full motorcycle helmet.
And they're watching this show like religiously. So everything we say here is really gonna end up on.
That's why I want to ask our guests what timeline they think the Section 31 show is going to take place in.
Well, I'll answer that question after we say hi and acknowledge our new guest, who's Chelsea, hiding out. There's like a light over there. Chelsea, can you hear us?
She's driving, isn't she?
Yes, I can hear you. I'm also stuck on the Sepulveda Pass because there is a wildfire.
Oh.
I am driving.
Chelsea,
you're literally driving.
Oh my God, Chelsea, I'm very disappointed in you.
What part of LA are you in?
Also, I lost my phone, so I'm holding an iPad.
Wow.
What part of LA are you in, Chelsea?
The area between Sherman Oaks and UCLA. I am stuck on the Sepulveda Pass. There is a wildfire.
Chelsea, keep your eyes on the
in
road.
traffic.
Wow, there's a wildfire. Breaking news, guys, in the Sepulveda Pass.
That's
Right
really
here on the 7th rule, breaking news.
I'm really
Breaking news.
right off the 405 in that area, just a little bit north of there. Where do you live in LA? Are you down in Long Beach or Simi Valley like Aaron or what?
Oh, Sherman Oaks, right where the Galleria is.
Great, that's where we have a lot of meetings.
Chelsea.
Oh, really?
Chelsea, can I ask a favor?
Sure.
Can you is it possible to just pull over and then join us? Because I am really nervous with you driving in traffic, joining our roundtable. Especially because I actually personally know you. Not that that would matter, but I'm a little worried right now.
It's okay. She just won't.
All right.
You just won't look at the screen.
That's true.
I can just do this.
You can just chat with us. Yes.
Perfect.
Yeah. Okay.
Can you show us your ear at least, though? Because this is,
we're seeing. We'll make it dangerous, Aaron. We'll look at her hair. It's fine, and we've got.
I know. I was kidding, Ryan. I was kidding. Chelsea knows I was kidding. I promise.
Oh yes, I know him well enough.
See.
Yeah, I'm on the record not condoning this behavior too, just in case. For liability purposes.
We're all worried. Aaron's all, drive faster!
So I didn't even know.
Oh, Aaron knows I do risky things.
How bad is the fire going right now? Because I don't see any smoke out my window here.
I don't see any either, but the entire Sepulveda Pass is just completely stopped.
Damn.
And they're sending everybody around. They're sending everybody to do a U-turn.
For those of you that don't live in LA, this is like an every other day occurrence practically. I mean, like we have fires, we have accidents, we have traffic, they're constantly doing construction. So LA.
The area she's talking about is like the most traveled area in LA.
Yes. Stop moving here. LA is full, guys. We are full.
Orlando's full too.
For those of you who want to go to Orlando, don't go to Orlando.
No,
San Jose. Is San Jose full?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
We
yeah.
can all go to Waco. Waco's fine. We can all go.
Aaron's all, come to Waco!
Waco's got room.
Yeah.
By the way, it was called Heaven's Gate. The
Heaven's
Nike
Gate.
shoes.
Yeah, that's it.
Wow. But
Hey,
so you
Isn't that the Kool-Aid people?
no,
No,
Kool-Aid
Jones.
People was Jonestown.
I thought that was a really bad movie in the 80s.
Heaven's Gate?
Yes, it was
No,
a very bad
that
movie in the 80s.
Wait, that was Heaven Can Wait with Warren Beatty.
Wow.
No, I think it's Heaven's Gate. No, there's Heaven's Gate.
I think it was All Dogs Go to Heaven.
I thought it was Little House on the Prairie, but I don't know.
I thought it was Debbie Does.
Does Waco?
Oh, this is a kid's show. Aaron, please. Please.
Put your kids.
No sentences that begin with
Ryan
Debbie
gets the
Does
best
Anything.
joke of the day. Debbie Does Waco.
Oh, gosh. Please don't start this.
So bad.
Don't add this to the Michael Chiklis stuff, man. We can only do one thing in one reference.
It's like a whole series. Debbie Does Toledo. You know.
So I've got a quick question for Chelsea. Don't take your eyes off the road, though. But what did you think of the most recent episode of Discovery, by the way?
I really liked it, and I'm almost wondering if they're going to spend in the entire season 3 in a mirror universe. Like they sort of tried in season 1, but didn't really. And if they're ever going to get back. And wow, that's all I have to really say. It was, yeah.
What was your favorite part of the most recent episode? Was there like a scene that really stood out or a character?
I would have to say the whole scene of about to make a turn. Spock basically saying he doesn't, believe in chance, but then decides to actually, spoiler, take the chance to trust Michael that she would contact him once that she's made it through. And that is like so un-Spock-like that I think that's a massive character development after having the giant falling out in childhood. being able to say, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to trust my sister, who I have a really bad relationship with, or did have a bad relationship with.
Well, I don't know if I agree with you. I don't think they had a bad relationship. I think they had a moment within the relationship that was just very difficult, that never got resolved. And I think they took this season to kind of find some resolution and some common ground. And actually, I think the show did a very good job of finding that and then coming to an end of them, accepting each other and demonstrating their true love for each other, and then having to let go, which was very hard, I think, for both of them, to kind of get to find some healing and then have to let go of that relationship. I think was pretty motivating for both the characters and the actors themselves. And I thought they both told that story very well, similar to the parents when Michael said goodbye in the previous episode. That was one of my favorite scenes in the previous episode. So,
Aaron and Waco, what about you? Did you have a specific scene or character that really stood out to you in the final episode or second season?
I mean, it's, as far as the final episode goes, I really like the one with Michael and Spock. I guess that's what would have stood out to me the most. That the whole thing with the allusion to what I take to be an allusion to McCoy and Kirk.
Yeah.
I did find it affecting also when they showed him at his station in his uniform, clean shaven. I loved that.
Wasn't that a good coming all the way back to the beginning and then getting to the canon of TOS? I
love that. The only thing I wish they had done is I wish they had shown him leaning into that apparatus at his station and shown the blue light on his face. That's the only thing I wish they had done differently.
I wanted to see somebody turn from a console and have that giant thing coming out of their ear. That's what I wanted to see.
Yes, that would have been nice too.
Yeah. What was that called? Can anybody tell me what that was called and what it was exactly for? Because it was a communication device of some kind. Because Uhura always had it, correct?
Bluetooth, I think.
Right.
They call
Bluetooth.
It's a new version of the new AirPods.
It's the same thing that people on submarines have.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, because it has some of the same things.
Interesting.
Because in Star Trek 6, she's sitting there and she's physically listening to outside the ship. She's listening for the ship and about it being rigged for a silent running.
Right. Now, Vikram, what do you think? Was there a specific scene or favorite character that you had in the final episode?
In the final episode, I think Michael has been my favorite throughout the season. I think she's done a fantastic job of acting throughout the story. And also Captain Pike. I think Anson Mount has done a fantastic job. The fact that we had seen Captain Pike for only one episode, really, in the TV series, and then some other references in the 2009 and J.J. Abrams movies. I think he's really brought Captain Pike back.
He's played Pike more than anybody else has, so at this point...
Yeah, that's true.
At 4 Pikes.
Big fan of Pike's Place coffee. I have a question for Aaron and Vikram. There's a lot of talk about how people didn't want a prequel. And if we go back to the beginning of season 1, did you feel that way? And if you did the last the 2 seasons of Discovery change your mind? Or did you prefer what it was originally going to be with Brian Fuller's idea of an anthology? Were you more looking forward to that and then disappointed that didn't come to be? Or were you like, oh, I'm great with the prequel? How did you feel, with all that stuff coming out at the beginning?
I'll go first. I think I didn't really mind it being a prequel. I think there was a lot of scope for kind of stories to fill in there. And even now there is a lot of talk about, or a lot of people asking for a Captain Pike series, which fit in that time between Discovery and TOS. So I didn't really mind that it being a prequel, and I think the writers always probably had this idea of kind of jumping into the future. So maybe they want to kind of get some following or viewership for the show with kind of bringing in known characters and then kind of moving it forward to new stories and kind of new ideas from by going into the future. So
do you think they
maybe
planned
they
this
moved
out
on
from
a
the
bit.
beginning? You think they were always going to go into the future?
I guess so. As in, I don't know if that decision. I don't think that was a decision just because people because of the backlash that came from people saying why are you making a prequel rather than a story in the future. So
Interesting.
I feel that it might have been a decision from before the series was made.
Interesting. Aaron, what are your thoughts?
I was disappointed that it was going to be a prequel series, coming off of, Enterprise ending 2005, so for 12 years before that, and Enterprise was a big disappointment to me. And I wanted to see where we left things in the 24th century. I mean, things had been left very interestingly. Worf on Kronos, your uncle, Mr. Eisenberg, is the Grand Nagus. We had all kinds.
No, my pops.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Remember, my uncle, he doesn't have the lobes to be the Grand
He
Nagus.
still has the bar.
I thought he was going to be the Grand Nagus.
Yeah, he thought he was going to be Grand Nagus. That's right.
Yeah. I got connections now, Aaron. I got you covered.
So I really wanted to see. I loved the idea of an anthology series where we could jump around to different areas and see, what happens when Voyager brings back this technology from the future. So I was disappointed, and also there seems to be this spectrum for the fans about some people not caring about canon that much, and some people caring about canon a lot. I am certainly more towards the caring about canon a lot spectrum. And so I always have been watching this with a certain amount of fear and trepidation with every episode, that I don't know how I'm going to explain in my mind if something is off in some way.
Right.
So I just didn't want them to have to deal with that. I wanted them to go into the future and let's see what's happening in the late 24th, maybe 25th century. And I'm really glad they're doing that. I hope that the reason they're going into the future now is to unshackle themselves from the restraints of canon.
Yeah,
now it doesn't matter what happens.
The shackles are off, Aaron. The shackles are off.
Yes.
Now we will fly.
So Aaron, I had a question for you, Aaron from Waco. How did you think the writers managed the kind of managing canon in terms of in their current story? Do you think they did a good job, or?
I think they did a pretty good job. I mean, there are some things that because TOS was in the 60s, there are certain mores that we have shifted from in contemporary society that really they can't portray some things that were said. Most particularly, I think we all remember Turnabout Intruder, right? I mean, there's obviously a very sexist portrayal of women in that episode, and you can't have. I mean, and I'm not saying they should have a show that has the main restriction on women in that episode. I'm not saying you should do that, but I'm just saying if we hadn't gone into the past, we wouldn't have to deal with it. We could have just been in the future. And so on the whole, I think they did a good job. Like, I was actually highly satisfied with the bridge of the 1701.
Me too.
I didn't think I was going to be. I thought if they go on this bridge, I am going to be so disappointed. The only thing I didn't like was the view screen. The view screen looked way off to me because it was just way too big.
How did you feel about it having pieces of orange floating around in there?
Well, I guess I didn't notice the orange.
George, you sure didn't like
it. said, yeah, she mentioned the orange.
Orange?
Orange.
Really?
What?
Orange? Yeah.
Some of that you can get away with because we haven't actually ever seen the Enterprise in this particular phase, because this is obviously in between.
Yeah, before Kirk,
where No Man Has Gone Before, and the Cage / Menagerie. So and there was also obviously a refit that was just done because they had to pull out that they had to install and then pull out the holographic technology. So you can kind of get away with certain minor changes on that basis, I think. Now, why they would pull out a huge view screen now and put in a small one for Kirk, I have no idea. But
well, it's pretty tough to look at Khan. It's that face taking up the whole thing. It'd be a little rough. I thought it was great how they did the uniforms, how he changed back when he went back on the Enterprise.
Yeah.
And it wasn't an exact replica, but it alluded to it, and I thought that was cool how they did that. And I like that you came from a place of you didn't want the prequel, but then I'm gathering you enjoyed the 2 seasons. Yeah?
I have, especially season 2. Season 2.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Not so much season 1, huh?
Season 1 was not as I had a really hard time accepting the Klingons in season 1.
Oh, really?
But then, in season 2, when they put the hair back on them, they look okay. They look a little different with the fingers and everything, but they're okay. It's within the spectrum that you can accept it. I think the way they are in season 2. Now the problem is you can't. The problem I have though still is even with hair, those elongated skulls. Well, that is not. Worf did not have an elongated skull, right? No. So I don't know, but you just have to accept these things.
Well, they also trimmed down.
But it already was elongated.
L'Rell's head was going way back, but then in the second season, not only did they add hair, but they shortened her skull to kind of match a little bit better. You were saying something, Rock? It's probably a naughty joke.
It was a naughty joke.
Aaron, did you ever watch The Shield?
Oh God.
No, I didn't. I didn't watch it.
Nobody's watched it. So I'm not going to talk about The Shield, but my point is
Please
how
don't.
did you feel in the pilot episode of Discovery when Burnham is a mutineer? Did you think to yourself, wow, where are we going to go now? Where is this? How are they going to make me follow her journey? Did you buy it? Or were you like, well, this is not good?
I was
Vikram, how did you feel about that as well?
I'm sorry, I kind of zoned out a little.
That's okay. I'm used to that. Most people do that when I start talking, especially Sirach.
Me too, Vikram. Don't worry.
I'll move over to Aaron. So
Yeah,
what I asked, so you can take some time to think about it, is Vikram, did you watch The Shield by any chance?
I haven't. Yeah, that's where I kind of lost the discussion.
Okay, all right, that's fine. I'm okay. So the question is, how did you feel about Michael being a mutineer and then literally going to jail, if you will? Did you think to yourself, well, this is dumb, or you're like, oh wow, this is bold, this is interesting? What were your thoughts when that first took off? Chelsea, you're not going to the bathroom, I hope, right?
No, but in a minute she's going to be in her room, so we can actually give her some time to tell us what she thought.
All right, thank you. All right, thank you for getting us on track, Ryan.
So what were you saying?
So yeah, I didn't
or
have
Aaron.
specific thoughts about her being a mutineer at the start of the end of the first episode, start of the season 1. I just thought that was how the story was going to go, and maybe they're going to tell some stories from her perspective. And at that point, I had no idea where the story was heading or what kind of arc they were about to take. So I felt that was fine. Yeah.
Really? You were okay with that choice?
I was. Yeah.
Interesting. Aaron from Waco.
I was pretty okay with the choice. There were a couple of issues I had with it. Number one, there was a TOS episode in which the statement was made that there had never been a mutiny on board a Federation ship. And I guess
really?
you couldn't really maybe claim that her disobedience was actually technically a mutiny, right? But using the term mutineer seemed questionable to me. And then the other thing I didn't like was that she was given the sentence of life imprisonment. that seemed strangely harsh considering
True.
the general ethos of criminal justice in the 23rd century.
Good call.
But I did like I liked the conflict, and I was okay with that aspect of it.
Were you a DS9 fan?
Me?
Yeah.
Yes, I was.
Okay.
That's my favorite Star Trek.
Oh,
series.
well, I asked because you liked the conflict, right? A lot of
Yeah.
people that didn't like Deep Space Nine, they wanted more TNG, you know.
Oh, no.
Each episode into it.
DS9 is where it's at.
Yeah, that's what I always tell people, yeah.
I think it's the best written Star Trek series to date. Still is. Chelsea, same question over to you. We're talking about the pilot episode and what you thought when it first started, and we've got this lady who is supposedly the lead and a mutineer. Did you like it? Did it kind of rub you the wrong way? Were you excited to see where it was going to go? What were your thoughts?
I think it was an interesting concept. It felt kind of rushed. Like it just happened too fast. Like there wasn't any drawn out conflict before that actually caused the mutiny. I mean, there was, but it's like, oh, there's a mutiny, beginning of the series. And it didn't, I think they should have drawn it out a little bit more, maybe like extended it, maybe made a 2-parter episode. And it didn't really seem like she did much of a mutiny, mostly because she didn't really get that many people on her side. So she didn't exactly get very far. And I agree with, life imprisonment sounds really harsh since she didn't really hurt anyone. But I do like that it was a prequel because it's a second chance to get things right that they weren't able to do in the original series. Like a lot of even just social issues that they wanted to do but couldn't do in the original series, they can do it now. So it's a second chance.
Interesting thing about that is when I first saw that, my initial reaction was, okay, I get it. Star Trek Discovery is going to be a story about redemption. It's going to be, we're going to see the arc of somebody falling from grace and then working their way back up. It's a story of redemption. Now, what I didn't expect was for that redemption to happen all in one shot in the final episode of the first season. I thought it grew out the series, but I was wrong. It was just like, slight redemption, boom, all the way back up to the top. And then season 2 is a completely different story. So not right.
Well, didn't they do the same with Spock? I felt like the Spock was the same thing. It was like looking for Spock. We're looking for him. He's a criminal. He's did this crazy. He's a murderer. And then it's like, oh no, he's vindicated. And now we have to listen to everything he says because he's got the Red Angel answer.
Yeah, and I to piggyback on Aaron from Waco, that conversation you're talking about between Chekhov and Spock from the Tholian web, I think the key word there is Spock says that there had been no record of such an event.
Okay.
But then you get Spock himself in the menagerie saying, oh yeah, I committed treachery and mutiny. And then you have This Side of Paradise where the entire crew mutinies and leaves the ship. So I think it's there's no record of it.
Okay. All right.
Classified. It's classified.
Or expunged.
And to Sirach's point also, that seemed to be a basic theme where they just forgive and forget and trust somebody immediately, like with Ash Tyler, who was this prisoner and Lorca just says, I could use a chief of security, not promote my second in command chief of security to chief of security, but just bring a new kid to completely take over.
Apparently, Ryan,
Lord Ju, who came from the Mirror Universe, and now she's a captain with Section 31. So you just got to roll with it, I guess.
Well, apparently one of the writers are fans of Voyager because that's exactly what they did in Voyager in the first 2 episodes. They solved their conflict immediately. So somebody goes, "Hey, we should give a little homage to Voyager and make these people trustworthy within moments."
But they also demoted what's the name, Paris,
Tom Paris,
for a while, and he kind of stuck there for a while, and they made him earn it back. So there was something there too, But you're right, like within the 3rd episode of Voyager, hey, we're all friends and family, and
the first episode.
There was still some conflict in that.
No, she made him the first.
Yeah.
In the first episode.
Yes.
In the pilot.
She integrated them.
Very angry about this, as Mr. Sirach can tell.
I see.
They integrated them, but they were still like fighting and squabbling and working things out until.
Oh, they were not.
Yeah.
Because then
A little bit with B'Elanna.
Janeway goes on which episode where they had the parallax? That's right. Where Janeway goes, well, I'm going to go with B'Elanna because we're not getting along and we can have some talk. And I'm like, you just left the ship in the hands of the Maquis. If you die, the Maquis have the ship. What are you doing? That would have never happened on the Shield. I'm just telling you right now.
Chelsea,
Very upset about Voyager.
on the Shield.
Definitely wouldn't happen on the Shield.
So going back to Discovery, she at least took a whole season to earn her redemption somewhat, right?
But it mostly came back in the final episode. It was mostly like one thing that she did that just catapulted her. They didn't bump her back up to ensign and then bump her back up to lieutenant. They were just like unlisted in the dog.
That's true. That's true.
Can I ask a question / make a point about that?
Please.
Yes, of course.
When Burnham is this mutineer on parole, it makes sense that they're having her room with this cadet Tilly. But now in season 2, it seems that she is still rooming with Tilly, and she's now a commander. I assume a lieutenant commander. I'm not sure which commander, but she's a commander, and Tilly's an ensign. Doesn't that seem strange that she's has so much authority, yet she has a roommate who's an ensign?
She's a mentor now.
Yeah.
Is that what? Okay. Well, that could
Yeah, no, it is weird.
I mean, you didn't see this on DS9, but in the last several episodes, I was rooming with Cisco a lot. You know, so Jake was very upset about that, but you know, it is what it is.
That's my room, man.
It's mine now.
You had your Dabo girl. You're fine.
You guys did have a roommate episode, which was really good. And Aaron,
Yes.
Yeah.
the buffest he's ever looked. If I remember correctly, you were even like working out.
You know what
You
it
guys-
was the writers would often come down to the set, and you know they'd see Sirach, and you know he looks like a kid, and you know they go, yeah, you know, can't really throw him weights because there's nothing happening. But every so often they'd see me walking around, and you know when I get to the craft service table, I wasn't reaching for the donuts, I was reaching for the carrots. And when I would reach, a bicep would just kind of pop out, and they go, wow, we need a workout episode for him. That's truly how it happened. I think Sirach pointed it out, you know, because he was so impressed as a youngin. And then the rest is history, as they say.
I thought it was padding inside the custom suit you had made.
God, man, you promised you wouldn't say anything.
To put padding there?
You promised. You know that the uniforms can make us look buff, right? You guys know that, right?
I know they can be a little too revealing sometimes.
Full disclosure, Aaron wore a cup for the whole series.
It was loaned to me from... Never mind.
It was a catcher's cup, but still, a cup nonetheless.
Ferengi, you know, there's a lot of us out there.
Vikram, how did you feel about the uniforms filling so tightly, Vikram?
I think even Anson Mount also mentioned it on a tweet or something.
Oh, did he? What did he say?
I don't
Is this the butt
quite remember.
tweet?
I can find it out.
Is this the butt tweet where he took a picture?
Oh, I remember that
I
one.
don't think so. I think he said that the uniforms do fit rather tightly than what they would have liked.
You know what? Something I noticed in in watching Discovery, that you guys correct me if I'm wrong, in TNG as well as DS9, because I remember seeing Avery do this all the time. Whenever he would sit down, he would take this, and he would always push it down. Every time he would sit, he would do that, right?
It's called the Picard maneuver, yeah.
Right? Captains always did that on the other shows. Am I correct? Never happened on
The
Discovery.
Picard
I haven't
maneuver.
seen one person do that on Discovery.
Different fitting outfits. Those
Yeah,
don't-
it's a much more
they're not-
breathable
they're-
fabric.
The only
they're
person
wearing like cardboard on Discovery.
that and really the only people that you see sit down is the captain on Discovery.
Right.
Everybody else is either standing or already sitting.
Well, I've seen Pike on this show tucking at the bottom of his.
Did you?
Yes.
I didn't see it.
I've seen Pike tucking at the bottom of his uniform.
That is when you really know it's a Star Trek show. Does that happen on Orville? Does Seth sit down and fix it?
I don't know.
There's really thick and hard.
Then I'm sorry. It's just not real then.
But I know Michael Chiklis used to tuck his down when he.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
So there's always that.
So I want to ask the three of you while we're here one quick question: who's the captain of the Discovery now?
Ooh, excellent question. Let's hear it.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Chelsea. Finish with Chelsea. Chelsea?
I think. Shall I go first?
Yeah.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, I think it'll be Saru. I think there might be some conflicts with kind of Saru being in charge and between Saru and Michael with that. But I think it'll be Captain Saru next season.
Not Tilly, huh?
Not yet. maybe in the next season.
I think it's too hard for Saru to walk around in those shoes for him to be a captain. It'd be too much for him to do an action scene and run around with the shoes.
By the way, did you guys notice a tweet from Anson Mount where they had a runway competition? Runway competition where they would just walk down the aisle and act like models, and Saru actually won that.
I did not see that.
Yeah, he walks quite well.
He's a good walker.
Yeah,
like Texas Ranger. Now,
like a night walker.
What do you think, Aaron from Waco? Who's the new captain?
Well, I think it's got to be Saru because he's the person who has the most authority on the ship, and they've now separated themselves from anybody who can alter the command structure. So unless Michael's going to double down on her mutineering past, it seems like it has to be Saru.
Now, some people have made the observation that Captain Georgiou is also on the Enterprise right now. Now, it's not the actual
on the Enterprise.
She's on the Discovery.
Okay.
Correcting. Now, it's not the actual Georgiou that was a captain, but they tricked everybody or lied to everybody and said, hey, this is Georgiou, she's back. They don't realize it's Mirror Universe Georgiou. But I think most of the people on Discovery are aware of that. So I don't know where that all comes into play. But Chelsea, your thoughts?
I think it's going to be Saru like everyone else. And also, if you think about it, we've never actually had a captain that wasn't human in any of the shows. So it'd be a nice change of pace if we can get that.
Not true.
Love to see it.
The Visitor.
Deep Space Nine, I believe it was the first episode of Deep Space Nine. We had Captain Rix, who was actually like a pink-skinned Bolian by an actor. I can't remember his name, but he's
mostly I mean like a main
a lead
character, not like a bit character.
And there was also
a bit character.
Thanks, Chelsea.
You're welcome.
Played a Vulcan captain.
That's right.
But no, you're right. We haven't had a lead that's been an alien captain.
I'm gonna make a bold prediction. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna jump 950 plus years into the future. That's where they find Prime Lorca.
I'm not gonna lie.
There
I
he
half
is.
expected the season finale this season to be him turning around and showing up.
Just kidding.
Lorca ain't coming back.
I don't think so either.
No,
but how fun would that be? And Saru goes, "Damn it! Fuck,
Now,
this was my time."
Do we know for a fact this 950 years are going to end up, or what if it falls short?
Be 949 then.
Exactly.
I think it's technically 930 because it's 950 from 20 years ago, but either way, between 930 and 950.
I'm saying, couldn't they end up just coming out of the wormhole that's right next to DS9?
Well, the producers have said it's 950, so it could change, but that's their plan for now.
I'm going, Aaron, how do you like the wormhole, the DS9 wormhole idea? They just kind of exit out of there.
Yeah, I'm all for it, man. I love it. Bring it on. Bring it on. I want to see that purple, open up. Like the underwear that they passed out. That'd be great.
What?
I didn't get a pair of those. Back to the
TMI.
TMI.
So what that is, Aaron and Vikram and Chelsea, there was a season where we got boxer shorts from I guess the costume department maybe, and it had in the back the DS9 coming out of the back of the shorts.
I never got a pair of those.
The wormhole.
Yeah.
Oh my
It's
God.
true. I swear to you.
Are you going to see it in What We Left Behind?
That's what I left behind, my friend.
What We Left Behind.
that does change the meaning of that last episode.
I should have brought those shorts to the interview for the documentary. That's what I should have done.
It was originally entitled "What Behind We Left."
Not going to give you that one, my friend.
Oh, never mind.
So since we've only got a couple minutes left, I do want to go around the table real quick and just say, like, overall, scale of 1 to 10, what do you give season 2? We'll start with Sirach.
I give it a solid 6.
Okay.
No, I think it was. I think it was a good show. I like the way they have the graphics. I think it's interesting. It's interesting enough to keep you hooked and tuned in to see what's going to happen next. It's a good show. I'm going to go for an 8.
Ooh.
Oh, wait! I thought you said a 6. Now you went up to an 8.
Yeah, I'm going with 8. I'm going to stick with 8.
All right.
All right. Your thoughts?
I think, I'm also kind of around 8.5. I think there were some episodes which were very good. Some were kind of not bad, but still slightly average. So I think, an 8.5 for the season, I think.
Oh, you're going to go above Sirach, huh?
Yeah.
Now we're gonna go over to Aaron in Waco because I think he's sitting on a 4 right now. I can tell he's going to just drop a bomb on us. Let's hear it.
I'm going to go with a 7. A little lower, but not a 4, a 7.
Yeah. Yeah, he's already said he enjoyed the season. I wouldn't think of 4.
What about Chelsea? Maybe she's the angry one of the group.
Can I do decimal points?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, my Chelsea.
I will do a 7.9. Mostly because there were some great ideas in there, but what I did notice, like in the beginning, they introduced characters that they kill off nearly immediately, and it's like, what was the point of that? It's like, you introduce a plot line, you have to kind of stick with it, not just get rid of it.
What would have made it an 8 for you?
Now, what's that 1/2?
That 0.1.
I would have liked to see more development with Ariam, like everyone else had said in the past. Like,
Gotcha.
she just kind of appeared and then disappeared, like a magician.
Mm-hmm. Now, Jared, let's hear your story.
If we're doing decimals, I'm going to be in the 7.5 range, but if we're doing whole numbers, it'll be 8. Like Sirach, I enjoyed all the visual effects. Visually, it was great. It had everything that was hooking, but there was so much missing that, and I guess part of this comes from the story style that I wanted. Not enough character development throughout the season, not enough standalone. That's what's keeping it from being a full 8-9. So,
Aaron Eisenberg from Singing Valley.
Well, how much time do we have left?
That's all the time we have. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, darn it. I'm going to go slightly higher because I feel that, when you guys want more character development and certain things weren't enough, I think about how they only had X amount of episodes, and instead of what you're normally used to, which is 26. And I think it's very difficult to really fill a ship with a lot of different characters in life and separate themselves from the standard, 5 or 6 crew members, right? And then develop all of them equitably or enough for you to care when they die. I do agree. It felt like they rushed Ariam's death just for was a bit contrived. I think they could have easily have given her more with that plan. I can't be as equitable as Ciroc because I think over our show over the past couple months, I've enjoyed the show and been much more forgiving for the things than Ciroc has been. I think he's been much more critical for very valid reasons, to be honest. I think he's got a lot of good points. But ultimately, and I'm winding up, or winding down, I should say, I really loved the journey that they've taken me on the first 2 seasons. I truly wish in the first season they stayed in the mirror universe and taken that risk instead of just doing it for 2 episodes. I think that would have been really fun. And this season has been just such a great roller coaster ride. Felt there were some issues at the 1/4 to the 1/2 mark, and then they really took off. So I'm going to go a little bit higher than Ciroc and just go to an 8.3. I'll go to an 8.3, give it a little bit more because I think the writers especially did a fantastic job of trying to connect dots and really bring the fans into what the past was and connect it and answer questions. And then they've also springboarded to get away from the prequel and given a lot more to getting away from that and giving the fans, okay, we're going to give you even more of what you've asked for. And I think you got to give them a lot of credit for not ignoring the people that have made Star Trek what it is, which is the fans. So I'm going to make it an 8.5. Because
wow. Just went up. Just went up.
I did. Whoop!
What about you, Ryan?
Well, I'm glad you asked that question, Ciroc.
Good job.
You guys are better at this than I am because I'm highly critical, and there's so many things that were really good and less good. You know, like the acting is very, very high up. They're doing a great job with the acting. The cinematography is good. The production design is through the roof. The composition, the music is top notch. You know, there's really, really, really good stuff happening on you know, per episode, every single episode. So that gets like a 9. Now, you know, then there's the writing and the producing of it all and how it all fits. And I feel like we kind of have to grade on a curve because they have switched showrunners 2 or 3 times. They're trying to cram in a lot of stuff. They're also trying to adjust on the fly to the fans and to, you know, adjust from previous showrunners and all that kind of stuff. So, you know, overall, I'd say maybe a 7. But grading on a curve, considering all the hurdles they've had to jump, I'd give it an 8. As for a grade that they would receive, you know, based on what they were given, if that makes sense.
Yeah, well done. Bravo.
So, guys, thanks all so much for joining us on this roundtable. We hope you can join us again next time. We really
Happy Easter to everybody who celebrates.
Yeah,
Yep.
That's right.
Yeah.
We really appreciate your contributions, both monetarily and especially in the discussions on video and in the groups and stuff. It's really cool. It's like a little community that Aaron from Simi Valley has harnessed, and like a mother hen and her Easter eggs.
And trying to just keep build and offer more.
So thanks for everything, guys.
Thank you guys for your support and just, you know, tuning in and being here with us. We appreciate
you guys.
Thank you for
you being here makes this possible, you know. So thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you also for having us on the show, and doing the show itself is a lot of fun. So thank you for doing the show for us.
Oh, our pleasure.
I really
Victor.
enjoyed this. Really did.
Thanks, Chelsea.
Thanks, Chelsea. And I'm glad you made it to your apartment safely.
Yeah.
I won't do it again. I promise.
I'm going to tell your mom,
One-time
Chelsea. I'm
thing.
going to tell your mom.
Please don't. She actually will yell at me.
So you guys will hear this next Sunday.
Cool.
Put it up, yeah.
Okay.
So anyway, tell them after we're done recording or whatever, but or you can cut it out.
Okay.
But thanks a lot, guys. Have an awesome week. Happy
Until next time.
you do, and you know, enjoy the weather out
Have
there.
good rest of the day and good rest of the weekend, guys. I'll see you.
We'll see you next. Oh, wait. You got to wait for the cut, though. We haven't cut, though. Ciroc?
Nope. Okay.
Yeah, don't leave until Ryan gives the official You know, for his seventh rule
I thought,
podcast.
didn't you do that already?
I don't think he did.
Ryan from LA. Got it. So for Sirach Lofton, Aaron Eisenberg, Jared Cooper, people whose last names I don't know, Vikram, Aaron from Waco, and Chelsea, I'm Ryan T. Huss. This has been the Seventh Rule. Thanks for everything, guys.